Brilliant. We are live now. Hare Krishna Maharaj. So today's verse is Shrimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter number 2 and verse number 28. The name of the chapter is Lord in the Heart. So is it okay, Maharaj, if I start sharing? Yes, thank you. Give me a second. I will increase the font and then we can go ahead. The font seems to be a little smaller.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tato Vishesham Pratipadya Nirvayas. Tenatmanapo Nalamurtim Atparam. Jyotirmayo Vayum Upetya Kale. Vyavyatmanam Kam Briha Atmalingam. After reaching Satyaloka, the devotee is specifically able to be incorporated fearlessly by the subtle body in an identity similar to that of the gross body. And one after another, he gradually attains stages of existence from earthly to watery, glowing, airy, until he reaches the ethereal stage. Purport. Anyone who can reach Brahmaloka or Satyaloka by dint of spiritual perfection and practice is qualified to attain three different types of perfection. One who has attained a specific planet by dint of pious activities attains places in terms of his comparative pious activities. One who has attained a place by dint of Virat or Haranyagarbha worship is liberated along with the liberation of Brahma. One who attains the place by dint of devotional service is specifically mentioned here in relationship to how he can penetrate into the different coverings of the universe and thus ultimately disclose his spiritual identity in the absolute atmospheric spiritual existence. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, all the universes are clustered together up and down, and each and every one of them is separately sevenfold covered. The watery portion is beyond the sevenfold coverings, and each covering is 10 times more expansive than the previous covering. The personality of Godhead, who creates all such universes by his breathing period, lies above the cluster of the universes. The water of the causal ocean is differently situated than the covering water of the universe. The water that serves as covering for the universe is material, whereas the water of the causal ocean is spiritual. As such, the watery covering mentioned herein is considered to be the false egoistic covering of all living entities, and the gradual process of liberation from the material coverings, one after another, is mentioned herein. It is the gradual process of being liberated from false egotistic conceptions of the material gross body and then being absorbed in the identification of the subtle body till the attainment of the pure spiritual body in the absolute realm of the kingdom of God. Srila Sridhar Swami confirms that a part of the material nature, after being initiated by the Lord, is known as the Mahatattva. A fractional portion of the Mahatattva is called the force ego. A portion of the ego is the vibration of sound. The portion of sound is atmospheric air. A portion of the airy atmosphere is turned into forms, and the forms constitute the power of electricity or heat. Heat produces the smell of the aroma of the earth, and the gross earth is produced by such aroma. All these combined together constitute the cosmic phenomena. The extent of the cosmic phenomena is calculated to be diametrically both ways 4 billion miles. Then the covering of the universe begin. The first stratum is calculated to extend 80 million miles, and the subsequent coverings of the universe are respectively fire, effulgence, air, and ether, one after another, each extending 10 times further than the previous. The fearless devotee of the Lord penetrates each one of them and ultimately reaches the atmosphere, absolute atmosphere, where everything is one and the same spiritual identity. Then the devotee enters into the Vaikuntha planets, where he assumes exactly the same form as the Lord and engages in loving transcendental service of the Lord. That is the highest perfection of devotional life. Beyond this, there is nothing to be desired or achieved by the perfect yogi. Om Gyantimidandusya Gyanajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om. Go down the page and leave it the way it was. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya De Satarine Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Piye Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Piye Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gauda Bhaktavindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Mahavishnu is an expansion of Sankarshan, which is an expansion of Lord Balaram. Mahavishnu is the initiator by which the material energy becomes active. In the dormant state, the material energy is in a place it's called Pradhan. Pradhan is the aggregate of all material elements, and that Pradhan is created by the energy of the Lord directly. Those elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego, are in a dormant state. Mahavishnu, when it's time for the universal creation to again manifest, then the living entities who were there in the previous manifestation are now sleeping in the body of Mahavishnu. So to initiate the next creation, Mahavishnu takes the help of Ramadevi, which is his female consort. She's the Shakti energy. And he throws his glowing glance towards the Pradhan. Now that glance is first picked up by Ramadevi, and she carries that glance to Pradhan. In that glance, there is three things. There is the time factor, there is the living entities, and there is Lord Shiva. Three of them, the original Shiva. And in that, once that glance is carried to the Pradhan, it activates the Pradhan, and then all of the elements start to mix. They start moving. Once that movement starts to develop, the Lord expands himself into another form of himself known as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he creates the first living entity, Lord Brahma. Brahma comes out of the lotus stem of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. It's dark. He can't see anything. He looks around and all he can see is darkness. And then he chants. He prays. Actually, he prays. Who am I? Where am I? What is my purpose of existence? When he prays like that, the Lord indicates that through a sound vibration. The sound vibration is tapa, tapa, and it sounded twice. After hearing it twice, Brahma understands that he must perform austerities. So he goes back into the lotus flower and begins his meditation. After a period of meditation for many thousands of years, he becomes self-realized. After he becomes self-realized of who he is and what is his purpose and what is his service, he understands he is the secondary creator to take the aggregate elements of material energy, which are now moving, and formulate the different bodies of the living entities. And then, in order to, he does that through the meditation on the Supreme Lord himself. And from that creates what is called Maya. Maya is the manifestation of the external energy now moving to form different forms within the material world. And these forms are 8,400,000 species of life. Then Brahma expands himself into 10 suns, and these 10 suns become the source of bringing back all of the living entities into their material existence where they left off from the previous manifestation. And then the next creation begins. And now we have the material world. In that material world as described here, there are different universes. There are so many universes, they are uncountable. Koti is the word that is used to describe the amount of universes. Koti means millions. There's millions and millions of universe. And they're clustered together like mustard seeds that in a bag of mustard seeds. Now, each of these universes are gigantic in size. We hear here, this one is 4 billion miles in all directions, diametrically. And this is the smallest of all the universe. Therefore, Lord Brahma manifests himself in different forms of himself according to the arrangement of the Lord. And each of the Brahma controls a particular universe. And according to the size of the universe, Lord Brahma has a particular head. So the bigger the universe, the more heads there are on Brahma. So we see this universe that we're in is considered one of the smallest. And for Lord Brahma only has 4 heads. In other areas of the universal manifestation, there are Brahmas with 10 heads, 100 heads, thousands heads, 10,000 heads, millions heads, 10 million heads. It's inconceivable by our tiny brains how this all can manifest. But by the power of the Lord, there is no configuration or there is no limitation of what can be produced. Things that are considered to be fantastic, which the karmis and non-devotees who have no understanding of spiritual life, because they have no understanding and cannot understand it, they can call it a myth. They say it's not true. But actually, there's no myth in the Shastras. The Shastras are given by the Lord and confirmed by the great souls. As Arjuna told Krishna, he glorified Krishna in different ways, and he ended by saying, this glorification that I have given you is confirmed by so many great souls, like Asita, Narada, Vyas, Devala. So all of these statements in the Shastras are not only written, but they're also confirmed by the disciplic succession, which includes many hundreds of personalities who confirm all of these to be exact realities. Now we have the universes and how the universes manifest themselves. Everything comes from subtle to gross. From subtle first comes ether. Actually, first comes false ego, which is the subtlest of all. From false ego comes the mind. I'm sorry, from false ego comes the intelligence. Then from intelligence comes the mind. Mind is the end of the subtle manifestations of the creation, mind, intelligence, false ego. From the subtlest form of the subtlest elements manifests the ethereal principle. And from ether comes air. From air comes fire. From fire comes water. And from water comes earth. So creation is from subtle to gross, manifested in that way. And the different bodies are formed accordingly. Here we're talking about winding up. The yogi is winding up his material tabernacle. He's winding up his sojourn in the material world by merging the earth into the water into the fire into the air into ether into mind into intelligence into false ego, and then ultimately projecting himself beyond the material realm by the power of his yoga process. And now he is projected through the coverings of the material energy. These coverings are also of the same nature as the 8 material elements, and each one of the layers of the covering, as it mentions here, are 10 times thicker than the previous layer, until one gets beyond all of the coverings into the watery section, which is the material ocean. And then that material ocean, as one travels farther, it says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that ocean is so vast and so unfathomable that no one can measure it. Beyond that, one comes to the spiritual ocean, the Karana ocean, where Lord Vishnu lies down on the ocean, and from there he meditates, and he's in yoga nidra. And then when it's time, he manifests the next creation like that. Beyond that level, which goes, of course, there are also planets and also different features within that ocean. Before one gets to that ocean, there is Mahadev's place, which is called Kailash. Before that, there is a dark area. When one goes beyond the material energy, there's a darkness that exists for thousands of travel years. After one travels through the darkness, then one comes to the light, and that's where Lord Shiva is. Beyond the light is the Karana ocean, where Lord Vishnu lies down. And then beyond that is the Brahma Jyoti, or the light emanating from the body of the personality of Godhead. Beyond the Brahma Jyoti is the Vaikuntha realm. And then we're reaching the essence of the spiritual world. So a yogi who is powerful and has devoted his life to devotional service, he's following this Astanga yoga system here. This is not the Bhakti yoga. This is Bhakti yoga in the form of Astanga yoga process, as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, and perfected by very few yogis in this age. But in previous ages, this was the means for self-realization. Because the soul, once it's released from its confounds of the material body, can only be released when it's free from all material desires. Just like we are in the material world now, and we're connected to the material world by our material desires. We're not connected only because we have a body and we live in a certain way. That connection is an extension of our material desires. once we nullify or remove all material desires, we're no longer connected to the material world, although we may be in the material world and still have a body. But that body now has become spiritualized by the process of devotional service. Although it looks material, it is not material anymore. Just like the great personalities who come from the spiritual world to preach Krishna consciousness, they take on a body, but their bodies are not material. They never touch the material energy, although they're in a material body. They see them, they know themselves different as of the material body, and they keep their consciousness connected to higher consciousness or spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So here you get a little understanding of the phenomena of both the manifestation and how the yogi gets out of the manifestation and ultimately goes back to the spiritual world. As it says here, the last line, then the devotee enters into one of the Vaikuntha planets where he assumes the same form as the Lord, engages in loving service to the Lord. That is the highest perfection of devotional service. So as devotional service as described here is different in process, because for the bhakti yogi in the present age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us the process of Harinam Sankirtan as the means for self-realization, which purifies the consciousness. And then when one has become fully purified, then automatically the residents of the spiritual world come in their, what we say, flower airplanes. They take the soul back to the spiritual world, and that's instantaneous. What the yogi goes through in a very arduous way here, but the yogis were competent to do that. We are not competent to perform this yoga system. So therefore, after Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, he understood he has to come in this age and make the process more suitable for the consciousness of the age of Kali, which describes that people in this age are not qualified to practice Krishna consciousness or any form of spiritual practice. They're totally unqualified because of the contamination of the age. Manda, Sumanda, Mateo, Manya Bhaga, Upadritaha. The Bhagavatam explains in the first canto, first chapter, that people are spiritually lazy, they're misguided, even though they take up spiritual life, they take it up in the wrong way. They get cheated by some yogis or some so-called saints. Manda Sumata Mateo, Manya Bhaga, most unfortunate. And because of the age, people are always disturbed. Anxiety is a constant feature of the characteristic of the living entities in this age. So with all of those disqualifications, one cannot practice this system as described here. But one can practice the Bhakti Yoga system as given by Sri Chaitanya, which is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, purify themselves through the process of that, and work under the guidance of the spiritual master to engage in practical devotional service. And gradually, through the execution of devotional service and the purification of the heart that comes by hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, the devotee awakens his attraction for the Supreme Lord, even while in this body. And when that becomes mature, then Taktva Deham Purna Janmani 19 Mameti Surjo. Now they can go back home, back to Godhead. So we have to understand how merciful Krishna is in the form of Sri Chaitanya. Maho Mahavadanaya Krishna Prema Padayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Namani Gauda Suste Namaha. He has made the qualifications available, which are not normally available to anyone in this age of Kali. This is such a contaminated age that spiritual life is so far from people's activities in life. They consider spiritual life to be, at best, something that you can do just to experience some higher consciousness, but they don't really understand spiritual life. People try it for different reasons. They speculate it. They get cheated by so many so-called yogis who offer them all kinds of mystic powers and all kinds of magic and all kinds of material benefits simply by chanting mantras or offering some puja. Just like Prabhupada said, there was one ashram, Aurobindo ashram. So all of the yogis in the Aurobindo ashram, what was their sadhana? Just to think of Aurobindo. That's all. To think of Aurobindo all the time was their sadhana. So that's one example. There are many. I mean, there's so many examples of bogus forms of spiritual practices in this age. You don't have to look very far. I was talking to one devotee just the other day. There's this one yogi. He, I forgot what he does, but he's young. He's very powerful. He has some mystic power. And he can read people's minds. He can read people's minds. And so when he sees someone, he just looks at them and he can understand what they're thinking about. And that's a mystic power. And everyone thinks, oh, he's God or he's an incarnation of God. He's so powerful. There's another yogi. He does exorcism. People come in large gatherings, particularly women. They're possessed by ghosts or some kind of evil spirits. He sits there and he goes into some kind of meditation. While he's doing that, people are being removed of the ghosts. And you see people are rolling on the ground. They're acting really like mad people, because what is happening is the ghost is leaving the body by the power of this yogi. And they consider that spiritual. So there's so many things going on in the name of, but real bhakti, real spiritual life is to know who God is and to develop a relationship with God based on the knowledge coming from God through his representative, spiritual master, like that, and act in such a way as to perform activities for the pleasure of the Lord with a desire to purify one's heart of material attachments. So Lord Chaitanya has condensed the process down into a more simplified form, because in this age it's not possible to perform as it's mentioned here, to actually develop this power of yoga through the Ashtanga yoga system and then project oneself through the different coverings of the universe, going all the way up to the highest planet, and then going from the highest planet outside the universe into the areas, and then finally reaching the border of the Vaikuntha planets. And at one point in one's perfectional meditation, one can enter into the Vaikuntha planets. I mean, yogis can do that. They're powerful. But in this age, you don't find too many yogis like that. They do exist. To say they don't exist would not be correct. They do exist, but you don't see them. They stay in the Himalayas, they stay in secluded areas, and they focus completely on their yoga process like that. Some of them are jnana yogis, some of them are karma yogis, and some of them are bhakti yogis. But these yogis are there. But we're bhakti yogis in the sense that we do meditation on mantra meditation, to develop and to perfect the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the supreme meditation in this age. To make the sound of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra constant within one's consciousness is the perfectional stage in this. As Krishna explains, remember me, and the easiest way of remembering me is to chant my holy name. Anyone can chant, but as long as we still are looking towards material life for some satisfaction, happiness, or support in any way, one cannot really approach the holy name in the proper mood. The mood has to be submission, the mood has to be complete dependence on the mercy of the Lord. And one should chant in that mood and pray to the Lord for his Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Patitambam Vishame Bhavam Buddha, Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja, Stita Duli Sadrisham Vichintaya. This prayer is taught to us by Lord Chaitanya, O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna. So Krishna is the son of Maharaj Nanda. I am your eternal servant. Jiva Sarupai, Krishna Nityadas, all living entities are the servants of Krishna eternally. Somehow I've fallen into this ocean of material existence. So the material world is considered to be an ocean. And if one is in the middle of the ocean, how can they get out? They can't. They can't swim across an ocean. They can't live in an ocean. But they're struggling to survive, and that is material life, the struggle to survive in this ocean of material existence. But somehow or other, I'm struggling, but please, then one is begging for the mercy of it. Please pick me up and place me at your lotus feet. So that picking up process is give me service to you. Give me devotional service. How can I serve you? And through the process of chanting and service, one becomes purified of material desires and reaches a stage of Krishna consciousness, where one can remember Krishna always. That is the process. It's easy, but it takes enthusiasm, it takes determination, it requires patience, and it requires one to follow the process as given by Krishna through his pure representatives. But the process is joyful, not like these yogis here. They have to work really hard to come to the stage of releasing themselves from their material body and then projecting themselves all the way through the coverings of the universes into the highest form, highest principle, material existence beyond the realms of these universes, all the way up to the Brahma Jyoti. And then they can, if they stay focused on Krishna within the heart, and then they can enter into the Vaikuntha planets. As it say here, they can have an exact form as the Lord in loving devotional service. So Bhagavatam is explaining bhakti in different processes and different ages, not just in this age. When you get to the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Lord Chaitanya's philosophy becomes more and more revealed in the Bhagavatam itself. As we hear these other cantos, devotional service is being explained in different ways, and by the mercy of a great soul such as Srila Prabhupada, he's explaining these verses in relationship to Lord Chaitanya's teaching. So he's giving us the process of bhakti in this age, but generally, until you get to the 11th canto, you don't hear about Lord Chaitanya's process. There are one or two verses before that, such as in the 5th canto, there's a description of Lord Chaitanya as being Chana avatar. Chana means hidden. He's also called Tri Yugi. He comes in each yuga in different forms as of himself. Therefore, he's called Tri Yugi. But in this age, he doesn't come as God. He comes as a devotee of God. Therefore, although there are 4 yugas, he comes in all 4, but he is known as Tri Yugi because he appears as himself in the other other yugas as himself. So if we study the life of Lord Chaitanya, adhere to his teachings, and the essence of that is to glorify the Lord by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And not just 16 rounds. 16 rounds is a way to get you connected to a commitment to chant. You have to understand these 16 rounds are not some form of like, well, if you did 16 rounds, then you're fine. Yes, in that sense you are, because you followed the instructions. But the purpose is to get you to chant always, get you to remember Krishna always. And this was explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, where he says that by chanting every day your desired number of rounds, your prescribed number of rounds, you'll come to the stage of chanting always. So in order to get to that state of becoming more and more absorbed in the chanting, more and more connected to Krishna and his transcendental sound vibration, we have certain commitments to make. 16 rounds, stopping our material desires by following the 4 regulative principles. But that's preliminary, that's foundational. That's what we say, the basis, principle of the practice. Beyond that is to remember Krishna always. And by remembering Krishna always, you become fully Krishna conscious. When that remembrance turns into bhakti, or love for Krishna, which will happen automatically because the remembrance of Krishna attracts us to Krishna more and more, and Krishna is all attractive. Just like we develop love for someone in this world based on their certain characteristics and qualities that they have. So in the same way, Krishna's characteristics and qualities are pure spiritual essence, and they're fully powerful to attract each and every living entity. So as we get attracted to Krishna, then our attachment for Krishna becomes stronger and stronger. And then Krishna consciousness becomes one's consciousness. It's not anymore like you have to force yourself to remember Krishna or think of Krishna. It becomes your consciousness, it becomes natural to always remember Krishna, to always think of Krishna, to always think of how to serve Krishna, to always be engaged in serving Krishna, to always to associate with devotees who are also doing the same activities. So this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Take advantage of it. He's Namo Mahavadanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaura Triste Namaha. Srila Prabhupada, when he speaks about Lord Chaitanya, he becomes so emotional. Sometimes he can't speak. What is that emotion? He's just feeling within his heart how kind, how merciful, how available is Lord Chaitanya. One cannot conceive. When Prabhupada was in America, he was traveling to different temples, and this was in 1975. He came to the Atlanta, Georgia temple, and devotees from all around the U.S. came to see Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was there for a few days, and he was giving lectures. When he first arrived, he sat down on the Vyasasana, and the deities there were, the main deities were Gaur Nitai, big, beautiful brass deities. They're still there. They're in the center of the temple, the 3 sections. At that time, there was Jagannath on the left side, and Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda in the middle, and one of the altars was open. There was nothing there. Now there are deities there of Radha and Krishna. But Lord Chaitanya still remains in the center. So when Prabhupada sat down, he started to speak about the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And he couldn't get very far. He spoke a few words, and then his voice became broken, and he could hardly speak. At one point, he closed his eyes, and then everything was silent. the devotees who were there described that it was pin drop silence. It seemed like it lasted forever, but it was only a few minutes. Prabhupada was in meditation, thinking how merciful Lord Chaitanya was. And then we could see, the devotees could see there were tears running down the cheek of Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada opened his eyes after some time and said, "They are so kind. They are so merciful." And then he couldn't speak anymore. And he said, "Just have kirtan." So this is the heart of a pure devotee. He understands how kind, how merciful, how available Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Prabhupada would also challenge us. He would say, try to understand just how merciful Lord Chaitanya is. And he said, you will never succeed. You cannot, no matter how intelligent, how qualified you are in so many ways, you will never understand their mercy. And we have the pastimes of Jagai and Madai and many other wonderful pastimes, how Lord Chaitanya gave his mercy to the most fallen, the most unqualified. And that's our position also. Therefore, the scriptures say that Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are still collecting the Jagais and Madais around the world and making them Vaikuntha residents through this process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. To take advantage of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, it flows like an unlimited ocean of nectar through the chanting of the holy name, taking Krishna prasadam, dancing in ecstasy, and reading wonderful books, going to the temple, associating with other devotees, and developing the family of devotees, which are the real family. The real family is the spiritual family. Every life, we get a material family. We get a father, we get a mother, we get siblings, we get so many arrangements. And then after that life is over, all of that's gone, all of it's forgotten, nobody knows anything. Then we start all over in the next life and collect another group of relatives. And then after some time, that's destroyed in due course of time. And so life after life, we're somebody's relative, somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's son, somebody's uncle, somebody's maybe even somebody's dog in some lives. So this is our situation, life after life. When we come to Krishna conscious, then we can bind with others whose desire is to get out of this material world and return to Krishna in the spiritual world. And then we enter into the family of Vaishnavas. And the family of Vaishnavas is the spiritual family. So that's one of the qualifications, and this is mentioned by Sanatana Goswami, as one of the principles of surrender to enter into the spiritual family of the devotees. And that is, of course, Vaishnav Seva, Vaishnav Sangha, like that. And then the process becomes even more wonderful. Okay, so we can stop there.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Such a technical class. It started with Mahatattva, Brahma's creation, and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And then you ended it with sweetly with how many rounds and how we should chant and how should we always remember Krishna. And then Lord, my mercy of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada's pastime. Thank you so much. Devotees, if you have any questions, comments, realization, please unmute and ask your questions. It'll be nice to have your cameras on if you can. If you can't speak, then you can type in the chat box and I can read it for you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
What happened is not so many devotees today. Today we only have 15 devotees. Yesterday we had 44. The day before we had something like 38 devotees.
Maybe is it the Sunday, because usually temples have Sunday programs, so devotees might be busy in the services. I'm not sure.
That might be one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But many of the devotees are in the morning hours, so temple becomes later.
Yes. Thank you. So
Anyway,
while we're waiting, I just had one question, Maharaj, on this. That when you mention about 16 rounds, so the limitation of 16 is definitely, we take a vow, that we should do it 16 rounds on the beats. So I'm assuming the rest of the chanting can go on without, like, not on the beats. Like, it doesn't have to be on the beats, is it?
right. Not necessarily, no. Prabhupada also made a statement in that regard. He said 16 rounds on the beads, innumerable rounds off the beads. Chant. Hare Krishna. Chant when you're walking, chant when you're cooking, chant when you're fighting with your husband or wife. Just chant. Chant always. No, that you can always do. There's no, as in Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis, Tatarpita Niyamita. No rules, no regulations. You can chant anytime, anywhere, any place.
Thank you. Thanks, Maharaj. Silpesh Prabhu, you have your hands up. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to yourself, all glories to the devotees. Guru Maharaj, I wanted to ask for myself, when life isn't going too well, then I think of Krishna a lot more. But when life seems okay, it's very easy to get distracted. So maybe you could speak a little bit about that.
Padam padam ya padam, that this world is danger at every step. Your okay can turn into KO in a second. It can. 1 minute everything is nice, and then next minute people are walking along the street or people are or in the classroom, kids are in the classroom, and then some crazy guy comes in with a machine gun and starts shooting all the kids. Or something. I mean, this world is what's the word? It's can't think of that word. And things could happen at any moment, at any time. So who's okay? Is anybody okay? You might think like that, but that doesn't make you okay. We all have to undergo the process of leaving the body. So why not prepare for that by becoming fully Krishna conscious? Sometimes they say youth is folly. When you're young, you think, yes, I have all my plans. And, and as you get more experience through life's experiences, you start to understand things are not always the way you think they are or the way you plan them. Anything can change at any moment. I mean, just look at the way the world is positioned now. There is, there's war going on. Just like, for instance, I don't want to get into this whole process too much, but, one of my dear disciples, he has some qualifications and he can work on airplanes. So he got a notice from one company who is now manufacturing these high jet planes, fighter planes, and there's a whole process of undergoing a mass development of these fighter planes. And they asked him if he could, become one of the persons to help develop these planes and help fix them when they get. So that's one thing. Another country I know of, they're digging underground tunnels now so they can move men and machinery and tools and ammunition when the war breaks out. They're expecting war. This is happening right now. China has sent thousands of young men on the border of the United States, and they've set up military camps there right now. You can see that this is being hidden by the news. So there's so many things going on now that people are preparing for some kind of conflict. Could happen anytime. So who's safe in this world? You could walk along the street and step on a banana peel, and that'd be the last step you take. That happens. You can be laying in your beautiful bed, sleeping at night, and you get a little restless while you're sleeping, you fall out, and then they find you in the morning, and then they begin the last rites. So, this material world there's so many ways that calamities can come. Unlimited. Very few ways that so-called happiness can come, but calamities are unlimited. You don't even know right now. There could be some cancer cell developing in our bodies right now. We don't even become aware of it until it gets big enough where it starts to indicate we're in trouble. We don't even know. The food we eat, the air we breathe, all of it's polluted. You got EMF everywhere. You know what EMF is, right? Electromagnetic frequencies for 5G. Now they're playing with 6G. 5G killed a number of bird species. 6G, they're testing 6G and the birds are falling out of the sky. Really? There's a whole section in one place. I can't remember where it was, but everybody in that area, there's a 5G tower in that area, and everybody's getting sick. And they actually tried to stop it. They brought it to court, couldn't stop it. The government went in favor with the corporations. I mean, everywhere you look, 15,000 people every month in the United States die of the cure that they get from the doctors. This is a statistic. You get Medicaid, Medicare, you get sick, you go to the doctor and he kills you. That's a statistic. It's not the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA in America has endorsed that statistic. 15,000 people a month die of the cure that they get from the doctors. Very well. Welcome to Kali Yuga. I mean, there you are, Connor, in Philadelphia. I mean, they used to call it the city of brotherly love, right? That was the name of Philadelphia. Where's the brotherly love now? Now you go downtown and the brotherly love is that you can't walk down the street because they'll finish you off, take everything you have. There's in the most big cities around the world, in the developed countries, people are not safe in the streets. So it's a crazy world. It's completely crazy. Because we practice Krishna consciousness, we're being protected by Krishna. We don't really understand how Krishna is giving protection to his devotees. We make some effort to protect ourselves, but that's only small. When Krishna sees someone is trying to serve me, he protects them against a lot of these difficulties and dangers. So our real protection is Krishna. And the way to become fully free from all of the calamities of this world is simply to become a devotee of Krishna, serve Krishna, that's all. Krishna he guarantees, I give protection to my devotee. even if he undergoes some difficulty, somehow the Lord is always there to mitigate that difficulty and bring the devotee back. That's another feature of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. But Krishna does that himself. He's very kind. So to say, when things are going good, so can you tell me what it means when things are going good? I don't really understand that statement.
Well, I feel happy. I'm not in pain. I'm not suffering. I'm happy in my mind. I'm not depressed. That's what I mean.
How many seconds does that last?
More than it used to.
Just, as long as we got a material body, there's always difficulties.
I think coming on this class every day for the last 2 years, Maharaj, it's made such a difference to me.
Yeah, before when you first came on, you weren't smiling so much. Now your smile is kind of like the sunshine.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai, Jai. Thank you. Thanks, Krishna.
Yeah, that's Krishna conscious. It's a transformation, complete on all levels.
Very true, Guru Maharaj, very true.
Yeah, but don't get self-assured when you feel good. That's dangerous.
Yeah, that's why I asked this question, because my mind is wandering too much even when I'm listening to this class, and I'm realizing that's not a good thing.
You shouldn't live in fear. Fear is another form of anxiety. We should just stay connected to Krishna. That's all.
Thanks, Prabhu. Amritana Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for this wonderful class, Guru Maharaj. So, I was thinking about how do we not be fanatic while performing Krishna consciousness?
Fanatic for the right thing is good.
Yeah, but sometimes in Krishna consciousness, looking up to time, place, and circumstances, we might have to change our belief system a little. Of course, that is with the permission of a guru. But
We're trying to posture ourselves just to please other people. That's all. That's all you're doing. Be yourself. Be Krishna
sometimes
conscious.
in the name of ritual. Yeah, okay. Please go ahead, Ganesh.
Yeah. If you're trying to play two roles, it becomes like, which role is the real role, you know? Do whatever you can to function in this material world according to how one should behave properly. Devotee is a perfect gentleman. We give respects to others, even if they're not devotees. We still respect all living beings. As we know, within the heart, all living beings are there. So a devotee is a gentleman, gentle lady, polite, considerate, concerned about others. But they don't give up. They don't patronize everybody else's ideas, because they know what is the truth. They know to worship God is the perfection of life. But still, they don't act wrongly towards others because others don't believe in that. Prabhupada talks about that. Devotee is a perfect gentleman. Gives respect to all or others. Devotees can interact with everyone and still, maintain their position as devotees. And honest people, intelligent people will respect you for who you are. Those who don't understand are ignorant, foolish, bad mentalities. They're always trying to push their unhappiness on others. You have to understand that. When somebody's unhappy, one of the ways that they kind of relieve themselves of their own unhappiness is to give it to somebody else. The devotees give happiness to others, not unhappiness. The materialistic people, when they're unhappy, and they express that ways by finding fault, criticizing, causing other people to become difficult. As the old saying goes, misery loves company. If I'm miserable and you're happy, that's not good. But if we're miserable together, hey, that's where it's at. So I want to share my misery with you because then I feel more happy. Yeah.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. So, when I asked it because sometimes, being fanatic, it passes a different message when we are influencing other people as devotees. So,
Fanatic is a word. What does it actually mean in practice?
it being a little extremist kind of thing.
What does that mean?
Being a little staunch in practicing, not compromising according to
We don't have. We always
situation.
we're respectful to others, but we don't compromise just to patronize others' feelings or ideas. We are who we are. We're devotees, and we're happy. We're proud that we found the best master, Krishna. If you call that fanaticism, I would call that intelligence, not fanaticism.
Okay, very much.
But if you're pushing your Krishna consciousness in somebody's face to force them to become like that, and then that you want to avoid that. That's not our program. If people are interested in what we have, we can also explain it. And sometimes we also bring up the subject. But we're not argumentative. Devotees are not argumentative. They don't argue with anybody. Karmis like to argue with everybody.
Right. I think this is an important takeaway for me, as devotees are not argumentative.
Yeah, we're not. They want to argue with us. We just say, I got something else to do.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amitana Mataji. Aarti Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. All gurus to Guru Maharaj and all gurus to Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, thank you for today's class. It was too much information for me that I got confused in everything. And every day, I listen to your class and every day some questions pop up and I thought of asking, there are lots of things going inside, but nothing is staying, Guru Maharaj. Are you
reading? Are you reading every day?
No, Guru Maharaj, not every day.
Well, that's the problem. Read the books. That's what they're for. If you read, you can sit there, read, and then you can think about what you're reading. And then if you think about it, reread it, and you understand it easier. These books are meant for reading. I'm speaking based on the knowledge that is given to me by Srila Prabhupada and by what I read in the books. That's all. I'm not creating anything new. These are all of this is coming from Krishna or the spiritual master or the spiritual masters in the form of, transcendental literature. If we don't read, then how we will understand this knowledge? It's not that we can be on this Zoom call all day. We're only here for an hour plus. The rest of it, you have 23 other hours. What are you going to do? Read.
So, Guru Maharaj, like you said, reading, like I like hearing lectures of Prabhupada and other few devotees. Is that the same thing of like reading and listening?
Well, it is in one sense, but that's the same knowledge coming in a different medium. The question is, you're saying you don't understand, but if you're hearing and you're not understanding, then something needs to be adjusted.
No, Guru Maharaj, I understand, but nothing stay there. Like I forget.
You forget. No, okay. Is there certain things you do remember?
Yes, Guru
Yeah.
Maharaj. Few
You
things.
you remember who you are? What is your duty to you? You're married, right? Yeah, you remember what it means to be a housewife. You're a mother also, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So all of these things you remember because you practice it. So if you practice Krishna consciousness more and more, and then you also hear how to practice it and what is the philosophy, it becomes part of you. Then remembering comes more natural. One of the ways to increase memory is to write down what you hear, write down what you read. Write it down on a separate thing. I keep a diary. I've kept a diary of since the year 2000, the 24 years. Every night I write in my diary my realizations, my experiences of the day.
It's Guru Maharaj.
Keep it, start a diary. This is called journaling. You can find a topic and then write about that topic in your diary. That's recommended. Writing will help us to remember easier than hearing also.
Yes, Gurudev, you are. I will follow this. I will make a separate diary, though I write, but it's not in the same diary. It's like somewhere I find a page and I will write down, and I don't know where the page is now.
What can I say? Write down something on the page and then get another page and write on that page where you put that other page.
Yes, Gurudev, I will do it from now. I'll make a proper.
You can hang it on the wall so you see it, somehow or other. Remember Krishna somehow. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna nivesa. The verse says, somehow or other, remember Krishna. If somebody steps on your toe, you say, ouch, oh Krishna. Hey, that's wonderful. You remembered Krishna. You should be thankful.
Thank you.
One person told me they were walking down the street and a dog started barking really loud, scared them, and they said, Krishna. And then they thought, wow, I remembered Krishna. That's good. So that's one way. The best way is to remember Krishna, is to hear about him, read about him, and chant his name.
Thank you.
Associate with devotees. You got a nice temple. You're there in Detroit, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many nice devotees there.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, they are very wonderful. Their association gives me so much energy.
Okay. I think you create problems. You don't have any.
You're right, Gurudev.
Don't create problems. They'll come automatically. You don't have to create them.
Thanks, Aarti Mataji.
Thank you so much, Gurudev, for all your mercy.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, there is a question from Shilpesh Prabhu asking, are you going to publish your diaries?
They're being published now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put out 6 volumes of the diaries. All you have to do is contact Radha Bhakti and ask for. We're putting them in book form right now, but they're in soft copy. You can get soft copies of them. I've done soft copies up to the year 2014, and Amrita Nam, she's there. She's working on volume number 6 right now.
Yes,
Wow.
Swami.
Mhm. So they're available, and just connect with Radha Bhakti, and she'll send you a copy, whatever year. Each year comprises 3 years of writings.
Wow. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's free.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Manisha Mataji, you have a question?
Yes, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
You're,
Can you
There's
hear
some,
you're speaking Chinese. You're speaking.
Mataji, Manisha Mataji, please go on mute. There is so much disturbance. You can maybe type your question in the chat and we will read it. I'll read it for you. Is that okay? Thank you. By the time we'll move to
She's talking Tamil now. I can't understand it.
Reiti Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hi, Krishna. Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Lord Prabhupada. All glories to all assembled devotees. So, Guru Maharaj, my question is about, I was reading this purport. It's really like, I realized like Mahaprabhu has made it so easy. And when I was hearing from you also, just by chanting and hearing, we can just penetrate all those layers and go to Krishna Loka. Process is so easy, but still we are very much struggling with that process. Yeah. So here in the chanting, different levels of chanting is there. So reflective chanting. So could you please little bit elaborate on what is reflective chanting, Guru Maharaj?
Reflective chanting?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I heard that term before. Where'd you hear it? What does it mean to you?
In the purport, it is mentioned like the first stage is offenseless and second is reflective stage of chanting the holy name.
Can you bring up the purport again? It's in today's verse.
Yeah, yes, Guru Maharaj.
It's in today's verse 2 to 28.
I was reading 30th. So
2 to 38.
yeah, 30th.
Okay.
We're on 2228. We're not on 38.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. But I was just reading it, so I just came across, so wanted to ask.
So go to 38 and see what it says.
There are only 37 verses in this chapter.
30, Mataji.
Oh, 30, 30th. Okay, 30.
That's
Yeah.
you find it?
Yes.
The first stage is offensive chanting. The second is the reflective stage of chanting. That's called namabas. Namabas means a glimmer of the glories of the holy name. Reflective in the sense that it is not full. It's just a partial manifestation of the holy name. The example is given like the sunshine when it appears in the morning. It appears first by giving light to the horizon, but one cannot see the sun, but one can see that there is light. So that's the reflective stage. So that is called namabas. That means one is, somewhat free from the offenses of chanting. It's called the reflective stage. Okay.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. So just like we are experiencing the
In the second stage only, the stage of reflection between offensive and offensive stages, one automatically attains the stage of emancipation. In an offensive state, one actually enters into the kingdom of God. Okay. And so it's called namabas. It's a glimmer of the holy name. It's
okay.
not the sunshine full, but it's the light of the sun that comes. It's the light of the holy name. It frees one from all material contaminations.
Okay, so it's like we are experiencing the glimpse of the holy name, the chanting.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm. Okay. So Guru Maharaj, just by just doing attentive chanting, we go to that stage, just hearing attentive.
Not now. You have to chant with devotion. Just by hearing nicely is not enough. You have to chant with feeling, with your heart, not just chant and hear in a mechanical way. That won't bring about success in chanting. Krishna is a person. He's responding to our bhakti. Sometimes we say, for example, we go through a certain regimen. First, you sit down in the morning and you sit properly with your back straight. You can sit in a chair if you have to, or you can sit with your legs crossed. The back has to be straight. Then, after you sit, then you start chanting, and you chant clearly pronouncing each of the syllables of the holy name. As you continue to do that, then you start getting into a pattern of chanting. And then you add the emotional process. Once you get to the connection process of chanting in a very systematic way, then you can start offering feelings in your chanting to the holy name. You're calling out for Krishna. You're begging Krishna. You're praying to Krishna. It becomes the mood of chanting like that. Then that stage is where Krishna reveals himself more and more through the holy name.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I express that when I'm chanting, but sometimes it's not. Yeah, the mood is like kind of always changes. Yeah, sometimes I do that with
That's natural. You'll go in and out for a while until it becomes more steady.
Yes, Guru. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Rafti Mataji. So there's a question, Guru Maharaj, from Mansi Mataji from Indore. Is it okay if I quickly read it?
Yeah.
So Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory Srila Prabhupada. The holy name is said to be Chintamani. I've heard that when we chant, if we think of something, then Harinam Prabhu fulfills it because the holy name is Chintamani. But Maharaj, sometimes strange thoughts comes up. In such situation, what should we do?
Think of Krishna. If you allow your strange thoughts to stay in your mind, they'll grow. Pick them out. Remove them by the power of your chanting, that's all. You can chastise yourself and say, oh my God, just see how contaminated I am. My rascal mind is bringing up all this garbage. And then you tell the mind, shut up. And then you go back to here nicely. You shouldn't be nice to your mind. You shouldn't be too heavy with the mind. But you shouldn't be too nice either. Right? Chanting the holy name is like riding a horse. You know, the reins are the control factor of the horse. If you pull the reins too tight, the horse will jump. If you keep the reins too loose, the horse will go wherever it wants.
Thank you. Thanks, Maharaj. I think that answers your question, Manisha Mataji. If there are no other questions, Guru Maharaj, should we move to chanting?
Yeah, I have about 15 minutes I can spare for chanting. So, do you have the slideshow?
Slideshow. Should I put Prabhupada's chanting?
No, the slideshow that we've been doing every day now.
It's not been shared with me, Prabhu Maharaj, so I don't have, but I got the the picture slideshow. Yes, that's fine. That I can put it down.
Picture slideshow.
Yes,
Pictures of the deities, and it has the holy name there also.
yes. Was
And how
someone
much-
said that they want to share?
So you put that up while we're chanting.
Yes, Maharaj.
I'm
I don't.
sharing it with you, Mataji.
And
Oh,
then,
thank you, Prabhu. If you can share that, thank you so much.
and then at intervals, you move it from one slide to another.
We can start by Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Prabhu is sharing with me, so it will take maybe a minute or two.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Keep it stationary. Don't keep moving it. Just put it on. Just put the thing stationary. This is something different. I don't know where you got this from. It's just
Yeah,
this is pictures of the deities with the Maha Mantra alongside. This is different.
okay, then might
Yeah,
have to find that.
that's we've been doing that every day now. Hare
Okay,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Just call up Srimati, she can tell you how to do it.
Okay, Maharaj. Sure, we'll do that.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare. Don't change so often. Keep it up there for a while. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hari 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. That's cute. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hari 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 Ram, Hari Ram, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Oops. Yes, my camera is keeping on. I'm going to drop off, so please continue chanting if you can. Thank you so much for joining the call today. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
May I ask who do you give?
There won't be
Because
any.
if you